So I think I'll be sitting here. I think you'll be sitting here. Oh, okay. Yes. No worries. You'll be sitting here. Okay. Yeah, so good. Names. Excellent. Good with the names. Okay. So we have a microphone. We have a microphone. Okay. So ready? Ready? Excellent. Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to these international press conferences we're hosting for the very distinguished member from the delegation of the Committee on National Security and Defense of the Seimas, the Parliament of Lithuania. It is actually led by two co-chairs. We're very honored to introduce to each one of them. So we have the Honorable Laurynas Kasčiūnas, and he's the chair of the Committee of the National Security and Defense of the Seimas, the Parliament of Lithuania. 第一个我们的团长立陶宛的国安跟国防委员会的主席在我的右手边。另外，我们还有另外一位这个共同主席是我们立陶宛国会的友台的小组的这个副主席。We have another co-chair, the Honorable Dovile Shakaliene, and she is the deputy head of the parliamentary group, the friendship group of the Parliament of Lithuania and Taiwan. And that's her second visit to Taiwan, and so she knows very well our country. So welcome back to Taiwan, madam. And also here we have with us a very distinguished member. He was the former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Lithuania, the Honorable Andrius Ačiubalis. He is currently the Deputy Chair of the Committee of the European Affairs, a former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Lithuania, 2010 to 2012. Welcome. And also, we have the other honorable member of the Seimas. We have the Honorable Eugenijus Sabatis, and he is the honorable member of the Lithuanian Parliament. We have also another very distinguished member, the Honorable Edita Rudeliene. She is also a member of the Seimas of Lithuania. And also, last but not the least, we have the Honorable Ieva Pakarkliete. She is also member of the Seimas, the Parliament of Lithuania. So welcome you, all of you, to Taiwan. It's really a pleasure and an honor have you been here visiting our country. So I would like to first invite the co-chairs to address the audience. And first I would like to have the Honorable Laurynas, if you may, to address the audience.
Thank you very much. A great pleasure being here. Almost last day, but really interesting meetings. Good content. You know, I will tell a little bit just introductory remarks. Our delegation is a cross-party delegation. So it's a parties from ruling coalition. We and Minister Ačiubalis are from Conservatives. Edita and Ieva is from two liberal parties. I'm very happy to have here on board also our Social Democrats, the main opposition party. And it shows quite strong consensus in Lithuania on our relations with Taiwan. And we came, of course, here to talk a little bit more about defense and security matters. We can maybe later a little bit elaborate on that. And it's, of course, the topic which is also, of course, very sensitive. Because in the future, international relations possibly will turn into turning already into the competition between authoritarian regimes, different types, and democracies. And we are democracies on the geopolitical front lines. And we need to cooperate between ourselves. Thank you. It will be my
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for these very important words. We need definitely translation. Thank you.
非常高兴今天来到这边，这几乎是本团这次访问的最后一天。我们过去几天讨论非常丰硕有意思。那么我来稍微介绍本访团的成员，来自我们立陶宛跨党派的国会议员，包括执政党还有在野党。所以呢，我们这一次来集合在一起，是代表立陶宛全国对台湾关系的共识，就是要支持台湾。 这趟来，今天我们也要讨论国安国防方面的议题，这是一个敏感的议题，因为未来国际关系会越来越看到威权主义还有民主之间的竞争，所以我们这些位在地缘政治前线的民主国家应该要加强团结。
I would like now to invite the other co-chair of the delegation, Dovile, to address the audience.
Thank you, and it's really a pleasure to see you all. As our dear host said, we are here for I am here for the second time, but there are colleagues who are here even for the third time. So as you see, relations of Lithuania with Taiwan is really developing quite quickly and to the good direction. For me, the most important 2 points of this visit was security and also sustainability of this relationship. It was really my goal to see cooperation in security and defense areas between Lithuania and Taiwan developed and expanded significantly, as I am also a member of National Security and Defense Committee in the Parliament, the second term. But also another goal is to ensure that sustainability of relationship between Lithuania and Taiwan is also continued, despite or independent of national electoral cycles. And for that message, I think it's important to know that I am a vice president of Lithuanian Social Democratic Party, which is most popular party in Lithuania for quite some time. Sometimes conservatives are in the first place, but nevertheless, we are the most popular parties. And that means by 2024, maybe also a responsibility to form the government for some of us. So in that sense, we want you to know that it is for the main parties important to keep this relationship. And with me, my colleague Eugenijus Sabutis is also deputy head of Social Democratic faction in the parliament. So that shows that Social Democratic Party views this relationship very seriously.
Thank you very much, Madam Co-Chair. We need translation for these words. Thanks.
非常高兴今天来到这边见到大家。我本人是第2次来到台湾，有些同仁甚至是第3次来，所以这在显示立台关系的友好还有发展。那我这次来有2个重点的聚焦在安全以及我们台立关系的永续发展。台立关系的这个之间的安全还有国防合作，是我非常希望可以看到持续扩展加强的。我目前是我们国安及国防事务委员会的第2任担任这个委员会的委员，所以我也希望持续推动台立关系的发展，不论是我们国会有没有改选，都要持续发展下去。那我同时也是社会民主党的副主席，这个党呢，本党在立陶宛是非常受到民众的支持。那当然，我们这次也有这个欧竹拔副主席，他是代表我们保守党，但是我的社会民主党是受到人民的欢迎，所以2024年我们很可能会组成联盟来执政。但是不论如何，我们都要持续发展跟台湾的关系。这次我们的成员也包括我们的沙普提斯国会议员，他是社会民主党国会党团的副主席，所以这次显示我们非常重视与台湾的关系。
Thank you very much. Now my honor to invite the former Foreign Minister, Honorable Azubalis, to speak.
Thank you. Thank you for an opportunity to meet the Taiwanese press. This is my 3rd time in your country. The first trip and visit happened 25 years ago. At that time, I was chair of Foreign Affairs Committee of our Parliament and lead the first Lithuanian political delegation to your country. The second time visit happened 3 years ago, and now the 3rd time. What I see when I'm comparing what I saw here 25 years ago and now is tremendous differences. In the good meaning of this word. I see tremendous progress of your country. And it confirms for me that the path which you choose is the right path. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you very much for Minister. Translation, thank you.
非常高兴有机会跟各位媒体朋友见面，这是我第3次来到台湾，第一次事实上是25年前，我是我们国会外委会的主席，那是我第一次，立陶宛第一次有政治性的访团来到台湾，第2次来是3年前，第3次就是今天这一次。那么比较25年前跟今天的台湾，我看到很大的差异是台湾非常的进步许多在民主方面，所以我非常确定台湾选择了一条对的道路。谢谢。
Thank you very much. Now, my pleasure to invite the Honorable Sabutas to speak.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you. As Davila, my colleague said, we represent the biggest opposition party, the Social Democrats, and I truly and honestly believe that the path that our party takes is the best and the right path. So, my main focus being here is not only to ensure that Taiwan case and Taiwan case that we bring home is the right case and you are doing everything great, but also I think that sustainability and continuity of our relations are very important, of course, in the field of defense, in the field of security, but also when we come home, we have to bring a word about Taiwan to our constituents. And the easiest way to do that is to strengthen our cultural, educational, and municipal relations. So I strongly urge your side and our side to be more specific on those topics.
Thank you very much. We need translation for this important word.
非常高兴今天来到这里。如同我的同事所说，我是代表立陶宛最大的在野党社会民主党。那我相信我们本党选择的路线是最好的，也是正确的路线。我主要的目标是要确保我们这次来能够向台湾取经回国分享给我们的国人，同时我也要确保台立之间的关系还有合作，不论是在国防安全方面，都一定要持续推动，因为这点非常重要。而且回国，我们也要告诉我们的选民台湾的故事。所以我认为我们一定要加强我们的文化、教育还有市政之间的合作关系。所以我也鼓励、呼吁各位能够在这方面多加的努力。
Thank you very much. And now it's my pleasure to invite Honorable Rudeliene to speak.
Hello, everybody. It's a big pleasure to be here with you. I am a parliament member from Liberal Movement Party. I am the vice president of this party, and I am vice chair of fraction in parliament. In parliament, I am working in education committee. Not related very much with security, but every parliament member, every citizen have to know this topic, and this topic have to be the first topic about security, about democracy. Lithuania and Taiwan face the same problem as aggressive neighbors, disinformation. So we have a lot of experience to share with each other. So continue it to do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. We need definite translation. Thank you.
非常高兴今天来到这边。那我是自由运动党的国会议员，我也是本党的副主席。那么我在国会是在教育委员会，虽然看起来跟国安、国防没有什么关系，但是其实每个国会议员还有每一个公民都应该要去关注国防的议题。所以我也希望台湾跟立陶宛能够加强合作，尤其我们面对同样的挑战，像是有一个威权的邻居，还有面对假讯息攻击，我们双方有非常多的经验可以互相分享，可以继续推展合作。
Thank you very much. Now, my honor to invite the Honorable Pakarklete for her remarks.
Thank you. Is it on? Yeah. Thank you. So it was intensive and really fruitful and interesting week in Taiwan. I am a member of Economics Committee in Lithuanian Parliament, and also I'm a member of Freedom Party. And my party members, vice ministers from my party, Ministry of Transportation and Ministry of Economy and Innovation, they have recently visited Taiwan, and I see that the cooperation in the field of economics is expanding, and it's getting deeper and deeper. And geographically, we are separated by 8,000 kilometers, actually 8,100 and something. But we are bridged together by common values. And this is a very important thing, because both of our countries have suffered from communist regimes, and still we have authoritarian neighbors. And we know that till this day, they try to undermine our democracies. And this is really important to share. And this shared understanding of freedom and democracy, it creates even a closer bond than any geographical proximity could create.
Excellent, very well said. We need translation. Thank you.
非常高兴来到这边。本周我们有非常紧凑但是丰富的行程。那么我是经济委员会的成员，我代表执政党执政联盟的自由党。那在我的党员里面也包括最近访台的2位部长，包括经创部部长等等。所以我看到台立之间的经济合作越来越深化。就地理上来说，台湾跟立陶宛距离非常遥远，但是我们之间共同的价值把我们联系在一起。我们双方都面对曾经经历共产主义的迫害，现在还有威权主义的邻居在迫害我们，所以我们一定要加强我们的民主还有自由的合作，我们彼此之间才能因为这样而零距离。
Thank you very much. Now, with the permission of the honorables, perhaps we can open the floor for questions from reporters. 大家有没有提问？来 ，OK， 我们现在is that 宇根 Kevin, right? Kevin from Taiwan News.
So I'm curious as to what were some specific security and defense matters that you discussed with Taiwanese officials, and also another question for the group. What do you recommend the international community do in terms of engaging with Taiwan to help prevent a Chinese attack on Taiwan in the future?
Maybe I will start, okay? I think war in Ukraine shows us what the defense of a country is not only a question for military forces, but it's a question for the whole of society. That's why whole of government, whole of society approach. It's what we are doing in Lithuania, and as I understand, you are starting to do also here in Taiwan. So it's the most important to exchange the views. Your conscript reform till 1 year, I think, is a very, very wise idea. Also, we are doing the same. We are also trying to create architecture of security national, which will engage much more society. So, of course, it's first of all about that. We talked about that, exchanged our views. We have, for example, in Lithuania, we have NGO like Rifleman Union, which is like NGO funded by a state, but it is a voluntary union where citizens, which are not military, want to contribute to the society and to state security and can find a place, can contribute. And for example, why not to do the same here in Taiwan? But of course, it's for you to choose. We got some information about initiative is happening here, NGO initiative of also like resilience strengthening of society. It's very good. Civil defense, another factor. If you look at war in Ukraine, you see that more than 400 hospitals are bombed by Russians in Ukraine. So it means war is not only about guns, weapons. It's also about medicine. It's about everything else. What can you imagine as what helps to function the state and the country during the war? So it means you need all sectors' contribution. That's why whole society, whole government approach.
Thank you very much. We definitely need translation first, and then we're inviting the honorables to speak freely as well. Translation，
我们如果看到乌克兰战争，我们看到一点很重要的就是，那国防不只是军队的责任，而是整个社会、政府都要一同扛起的责任。我们立陶宛正在全面的推展我们的全民防卫的机制。我知道台湾也正在做一样的事情，把这个兵役恢复为1年，我觉得这样非常的好。那我们在这次访问台湾，我们跟许多的官员就是交换了这方面的意见。那有一件事情就是我们在立陶宛有一个非政府组织叫做步枪兵联盟，它是由我们国家去资助，但是是由公民主动发起、主动加入的一个联盟，大家想要为国防国安尽一份心力。那我想台湾也可以考虑这样子的做法。我知道台湾也有一些非政府组织正在做这样类似的事情，所以全民防卫非常的重要。那么我们看到乌克兰也有许多的医院受到俄罗斯的轰炸，所以这也显示出战争不只是关于军力、武器，而是也要照顾到医疗等等方面，才能够让整个国家在战时可以正常的运作。所以需要各方面一同努力，是整个社会还有政府一同要保家卫国。
Thank you very much. I've been inviting Madam Shakaliani to speak. Yes.
So this is actually a very good question, and as an initial architect of idea of this delegation, I was pretty sure that there are a lot of areas that we can cooperate on, and after 5 days of meetings, it is completely clear that from the areas of cybersecurity to combating disinformation and propaganda, sharing software and hardware needed to strengthen our defenses, to learning more about concepts of each other, your porcupine military strategy, our total defense strategy that Lorina's already mentioned, to also civil defense, where we have to learn some really useful things from you, to expanding cooperation in different areas that are related to security and defense in different aspects. And of course, some details that we all understand that we cannot discuss in public, but nevertheless, we have foreseen a lot of areas. We have already exchanged many ideas and plans for the future. So this is one of the most fruitful visits that I've had in the past 12 months.
Thank you so much. And translation, Yushin, thanks.
那么这次来之前，我就知道我们会在各个方面有丰富的讨论。在过去5天以来也是如此。我们针对网络安全、假讯息防治，还有增强国防的软硬体方面有非常多的讨论。我们也向台湾学到这个豪猪战略，还有立陶宛自己的全面防卫，还有全民国防这些方面，我们都可以加强合作。那我可以公开跟大家讲的就是，我们未来会已经讨论了非常多的计划，是未来可以去加强合作的。所以这一次访台是我过去1年以来成果最丰硕的一次。
Thank you very much. Inviting Azubalis, the honor of to
Thank
speak.
you. Just continuing to answer to your question about how Lithuania could advocate or could help that security would be increased in this part of the world. Very simple answer. We are members of NATO. And we are discussing with our allies about the security matters. And the result you could see in the newest NATO strategic concept, which first time in this concept enshrined, I'm just quoting, China's coercion policy is a challenge to Euro-Atlantic communities' interests, security and values. It means that the first time all member states, NATO member states, agreed that China poses threats to our values. It means that in the future we could think about more active role of NATO in the Indo-Pacific region. Thank you.
Excellent, very well said. For Minister, translation, Yushin, thanks.
那么我也要回应立陶宛怎么样来加强这个亚太地区的区域安全。答案很简单，我们是北约的成员国，我们过去也一直跟北约成员国讨论安全相关的议题。那么这个讨论的结果就是在北约最新发布的这个战略概念里面，首度提到中国的威胁还有胁迫对于欧洲 大西洋地区来说是安全还有利益上面极大的威胁，所以这也是第一次所有的北约会员国都同意中国严重威胁到我们的共同价值，这也代表未来北约会更积极的来协助印太地区。
Thank you very much. If there's no any additional comments, perhaps we move to second questions. 有没有其他的问题？来，自由时报 Liberty Times 陈玉。
Good evening. This is Chen Yu from the Liberty Times. My question is about the Taiwanese representative office opened in Lithuania in 2021, and the Lithuania's trade representative office also opens recently. What would be your assessment of the achievement of bilateral exchanges over this time? And are there any areas with potential in which even can be done? And what to look forward this year? Thank you.
We first invited the chair.
Yes, I will be short, and then my colleagues will elaborate more, because she has a lot of statistics. We've moved forward. Really, we moved forward. We feel that, but representatives both are working. Next week we will have good news in Lithuania, and what is very interesting on the high tech, I mean, and high added value economy for us, technological transfer, so it's really what we need, we need to be part of that, so I think it's very important. We can put a lot of points in favor of our new quality of our relations. But at the same time, I also would like to admit that it's very important. I mean, for the society, for our politicians, for the economy, to show these success stories as much as possible more. If its success stories continues, it's much more easier to find and to keep this broad consensus on our relations, because very well, China sanctioned us, harassed us, blocked us. They harassed companies, international companies which are operating in Lithuania. So it harmed, but we are quite resilient as a country. I mean, we do not have Chinese investment in strategic assets. We are not sold them the ports, or electricity grid systems. So we are quite resilient. But anyway, we should keep going and keep continuing the success stories. It's important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We allow translation, and then we invite in Madam to speak.
那确实，我们看到台立双边的代表处有非常大的进展，是我们非常清楚的感觉到。我们即将也有一些好消息要宣布，我们在可能高科技，还有一些附加价值比较多的产业方面，还有数位方面都有非常多的合作，这也非常重要。那么还有一点非常重要的是，我们要持续的告诉大家台立双边合作的这个成功故事，这样子我们的整个社会经济大家都能感受到这样子的合作对我们带来很好的一个前景。中国对于立陶宛实施了许多制裁，还有骚扰，包括这个阻扰我们国际上在立陶宛运作的这些跨国公司，但是我们立陶宛全国非常有韧性，我们也没有去接受中国在我们的一些战略产业或者是港口做投资，所以未来我相信我们要持续的推动台立关系，还有更告诉大家我们这个成功故事。
Thank you very much. I would like to invite Yava to speak.
Thank you. I will divide my answer into separate parts for an interpreter to have an easier job, because I have 3 parts of that. So we appreciate that the economic relations are heading to the right direction. And as Lorina's previously mentioned, that a group of Lithuanian companies, they are on the verge to sign a contract with a Taiwanese partner, a huge project. project, and it should be signed next week, and it's really important for us. So we are really glad that this cooperation is happening. Moreover, as you probably know, your Minister of Digital Affairs is currently in Lithuania. Our Minister of Economy and Innovation invited your minister, and now they're having some really fruitful meetings. And Audrey Tang became the first minister ever to be granted e-residency in Lithuania. And I would like to encourage Taiwanese citizens to become part of e-Lithuania's community and strengthen the bonds between Lithuanian and Taiwanese people.
Thank you very much. The translation.
那我的回答分成几个部分。首先，我非常高兴也感谢看到，我们双边的这个经贸关系在对的方向上。那如同刚才同事所说的，有一些立陶宛的公司即将跟台湾的企业签署合约，那这是可能下个礼拜会签订的一个非常大的计划。我也非常高兴看到这么重要的发展。再来，台湾的数位发展部长唐凤部长现在正在立陶宛访问，他是受到立陶宛的经创部长的邀请，目前呢正在已经有了非常多丰富的讨论。唐凤部长也是第一位在立陶宛获得这个欧盟的居留权的公民。那我们也鼓励更多的台湾人可以来到立陶宛，持续的推动我们的双边关系。
Moreover, we are really glad that cooperation is happening not only in the sectors of semiconductors and lasers, but also in different sectors, for instance, education and digital literacy, because if you want to build a cognitive resilience of our nations, it's of a crucial importance to invest in media and digital literacy. And a couple of days ago, it was announced that Taiwan is going to invest in Lithuanian startup in EdTech. And this startup, this project aims to ensure that all children in Lithuania are able to acquire digital and IT skills despite their socioeconomic background. And for us, it's really important. So I think that our cooperation in EdTech has a lot of potential as well. And yeah, not to mention the previously mentioned sectors of semiconductors and lasers, but EdTech is also one of the priorities, including media literacy and digital security.
Thank you. Translation, please.
那么再来，我很高兴看到台立双边合作不只是聚焦在半导体、雷射产业，我们也在教育科技上面有非常大的进展，尤其是提升这个数位还有媒体识读，因为这对于我们对抗假讯息还有认知作战的韧性非常重要。前几天我们也宣布了，台湾即将要投资立陶宛的一家新创公司，要提供立陶宛所有的儿童，不论他们的社经地位如何，都可以去受到数位还有资讯科技的教育。所以这方面的合作非常重要，不只是只有半导体，还有雷射，教育科技的合作也非常有潜力。
Thank you. There's a third part. No, sorry, you summarized. Sorry, excellent. Thank you very much. So we take the next question. Yeah, 还有没有其他的问题 ？Yes, please. Okay, let me check. 也中央社也是 Novia from CNA.
不好意思，我想要麻烦翻译一下哦。就是我想要接续刚才立陶宛驻台代表处的问题，是之前好像听说立陶宛驻台代表处是没有外交领事的功能，所以我想请教，在这个方面，在目前或者是近期会不会有一些改变？
So I would like to ask a follow-up question regarding Lithuanian representative office, trade representative office in Taiwan. In the past, it didn't have the function of a consulate. I would like to know if that's going to change.
It's a question for our government. I mean, we cannot answer to it. I mean. So I think we could leave it like open, and in the future we will give more concrete answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Translation.
那这个问题是必须要由我们政府来回答，我不能回答，所以我们就看未来怎么样发展。
Actually, I just wanted to add one sentence, even though we couldn't answer this question because this is addressed to our government, but please don't hesitate to ask inconvenient questions. I've been a host of several radio shows in Lithuanian News Radio for 7 years, so I know that it's much more fun to ask questions that are inconvenient than those which are nice, so don't hesitate.
Thank you. The translation, 于心。
那虽然这一题本身我们不能够代表政府回答，但是我还是鼓励大家，不要害怕问各种问题，因为我自己主持电台节目有7年的经验，所以我很乐意回答各式各样的问题。
Thank you very much. So kind of them. Okay, more questions? Interesting question, challenge question, or welcome. Yeah. Okay. Well, one more. Liberty Times.
And thanks for your precious opinion for us. Thank you. And first, I would like to thank Mr. Azbalis, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs. Your experience in comparison of 25 years ago, the first time you visited Taiwan. Thank you. My question goes to Madame Shakaliene. Last time you visited Taiwan in 2021, at the end of that year, yes, and after 1 year you visit Taiwan again. So last time you, at the time that your last visit, Russia has yet launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, but now the international society has changed a lot. So what is your thinking or experience on this between the two visits? Thank you.
I was last time 13 months ago, and it was the very last days of November and beginning of December. And at that time, it was almost completely clear that full-scale invasion into Ukraine is going to happen. Well, at least for those of us who were not wearing pink glasses and realizing that intelligence data shows that it's inevitable. Nevertheless, the difference is that for me it's much easier. I was then in the minority of people who thought that Russia and China are going to cause much more trouble, actually, and are going to go from verbal threats to actual damage, and a lot of damage in the nearest future. So now it was much easier to plan the visit, to prepare for specific areas of cooperation, because 13 months ago, to speak openly that we need to strengthen our defense and security and learn from each other and see Russia and China as a joint threat, and also work from total defense to a lot of issues, for example, as I said, cybersecurity, it would have been more difficult. Now we can actually go to practical work, and much more people understand that, our partners much more understand that, and in certain partners we've seen a tremendous change regarding Russia, and now the change regarding China is also starting to happen. But using this opportunity, I'd like also to say that one more moment is important, is that a new triangle geopolitically has been forming in probably Lithuania in the center, because Lithuania, Taiwan, and Ukraine are now at the focus of the world in the sense that we are breaking certain we are kind of icebreaker in changing the mentality that is old and outdated, and realizing that by withdrawing or by so-called de-escalation, we only incite the aggressor to attack. And that is the main change that has happened.
Very well said. Thank you. Translation for that. Thank you.
那么我上一次来是13个月前，在年底，那个时候大家有的人还不确定乌俄战争会不会开打，但是其实我们很多人知道这个情资都已经显示这个战争是无可避免的。那么未来中国跟俄罗斯一定会造成世界上更多的这个困扰。过去呢，可能只是言语威胁，未来会造成更多实际的伤害。但是庆幸的是，现在跟13个月前不一样。当初如果我们告诉大家要加强国防、国安的合作，互相学习，并且把俄罗斯还有中国当成是一个大家共同的威胁，并且要强化我们的全面防卫，还有网络安全。当时大家可能听不进去，但是现在大家都知道这些是必要的，我们的人民和盟友都了解到这一点。 现在大家对于俄罗斯还有中国的观点也有非常大的改变。现在同时也是一个很重要的时间点，因为立陶宛、台湾还有乌克兰其实形成了一个很强力的政治一个三角联盟这样子的概念。我们算是一个先驱，我们要打破大家过去的旧的思维，那就是我们去安抚这些威权主义国家是不能够带来和平的，只会让他们变本加厉而已。
Thank you very much. Like to invite Mr. Chair.
Just a few sentences. You know, February 24 last year, Russia planned everything to do very fast, in 1 or 2 weeks, really. And I think what a lot of authoritarian regimes paid a big attention what's happening. You know, and when Ukrainians showed how to resist, when they resisted, made Russian struggle, and a war is almost 1 year. I think what it also sent a signal to other authoritarian regimes, also here, near you, what it won't be easy. And the Ukrainian success deters other authoritarian regime too. That's why I want to say thank you, Taiwan, for supporting Ukraine, for banning and sanctioning Russia on high-tech chips, and encourage you to do as you can more helping Ukraine, because it's a question not only about Ukraine, it's a question of all European security and whole international relations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Translation, thanks.
去年的2月24号，俄罗斯决定要攻打乌克兰，其实在2个礼拜内就很快规划好一切。那所有世界上的威权主义国家也都在观望这个情势，但是乌克兰证明了他们可以成功抵挡俄罗斯的攻击，把这个战争延长到1年之久。这也让世界上其他的威权主义国家，包括中国，看到要入侵邻国是会面对很大的代价跟困难。这也成功的嚇阻了其他威权主义的扩张。所以在这边我也要感谢台湾对乌克兰的支持，还有对于俄罗斯实施晶片的制裁，也希望未来台湾可以更加倍的帮助乌克兰，因为乌克兰议题不只是欧洲安全，也是全世界国际关系的议题。
Thank you very much. If there's no additional comment, perhaps move to next questions, if any. 还有没有媒体记得有其他的问题？都欢迎提出哦。Okay, more limited times. Okay.
sorry, my last question. Some opinion leaders in Taiwan, they say if we buy these weapons, then we will have peace with China in the future. And what your response to this opinion and thinking? Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You know, it's a question which also in different contexts, but at the same logic arises sometimes in Lithuania, in Europe, and so on. You know, they want to what you would think so. You know, but now I'm reading a book about Winston Churchill. You know, and he now his book about Second World War, about the military when Hitler took over the militarized Rhine zone, when he took over part of Czechoslovakia, you know, and big countries at that moment, you know, they said, oh, it's rural region, it's a German region, why we should not go? But they did not attack us, you know. Appeasement does not work. We should understand, appeasement does not work. Only deterrence works. You know, and the contemporary example is Ukraine. Since 2014, Lithuania, other Baltic states, Poland said to everybody, give weapons to Ukraine, it will deter. We heard the answer. Don't give weapons because it will provoke. And we did not give weapons enough. Is it was provocation? It was not enough for deterrence. The weapons to Ukrainians since 2014 could help to avoid the war now. So this is the logic which should be fundamental here too.
Very well said. Then we need translation for that, and then invite.
其实这样子的论述在欧洲对于立陶宛也常常看到，我们可能会以为这个论述是对的，其实不然。我目前在读一本关于丘吉尔、关于二战还有希特勒占领斯洛伐克等地区的一本书，里面就有写到，当时有些人会觉得跟德国无关的事情我们就不要去插手，但是其实这样安抚或者说绥靖的做法其实是没有用，应该有效的是要去嚇阻敌人。2014年的时候，欧洲许多国家就在讨论要不要给乌克兰武器。那有人认为给乌克兰武器反而是一种挑衅，可是事实上它是一种嚇阻。目前这些2014年大家给乌克兰的武器，其实现在帮助乌克兰在这个战争里面能够撑得下去。
Thank you very much. I was inviting Madam Chair to speak.
Thank you. Actually, I love this question. It's a really good one, and at the same time, it reveals why the outdated mentality must be broken, because we have not learned from history. Today is a very special day in Lithuania. It's January 13th. It's the day when, over 30 years ago, Russia tried to retake our independence, to again crush our people, crush our land with their tanks, but we resisted. And if we would have looked for a compromise, there would be no Lithuania today. Also, I am wearing a very special necklace given to me by a Ukrainian woman who is going to front line every day. She is trying to help the warrior. She is documenting also the war crimes. I'm wearing Vyshivanka. This is a special shirt by Ukrainians. It's also one of the symbols of their freedom. But on that, I'd like to add that my grandparents were punished by Russians 5 decades ago and were living in Siberia in barracks in taiga next to Ukrainians, because Lithuanians and Ukrainians, which were called Banderovets and whatever, were blamed for wanting freedom. So we should learn that if we try to de-escalate by conceding or by being afraid, it only escalates, it always escalates. And your example, I mean, when your president gave the order to shoot down the drones that were harassing inhabitants of Kinmen Islands, has there been a single drone after that? If you concede to the bully, he goes further. If you stop them, they stop.
Excellent, very well said. And translation for that. Thank you, Kishan.
我非常喜欢您提出的这个问题，这是一个很棒的问题，它也显示出为什么我们要去打破旧的思维，不然我们就不能从历史学到教训。今天1月13号对立陶宛来说是很重要的日子。32年前的今天，俄罗斯试图要夺走立陶宛已经拥有的独立，还有我们的自由。当时立陶宛的人民极力的抵抗，如果当时人民没有抵抗，现在就没有今天的立陶宛。我今天特别带了一条项链，是乌克兰的女性所送给我的。那这些乌克兰的女性目前也在每天在战场上去帮忙，然后去记录各式各样战争里面可怕的罪行。我今天穿的这件上衣也是乌克兰的上衣，它象征的自由。再来，我自己的祖父母在50年前受到俄罗斯的迫害，他们被流放到西伯利亚，跟乌克兰人一起住在劳改营里面，因为他们所被判的罪行是争取自由。那我们必须要从这些案例里面学到，我们如果要去讨好敌人，去纵容他们，我们只会让敌人变本加厉。蔡总统也曾经下令要击落中共干扰金门的这些无人机，击落了1台。这之后还有其他中共的无人机吗？我们要问的问题是，我们如果去纵容这些霸凌者，他们只会变本加厉。如果我们叫他们停止，他们就会停止。
Thank you very much. Just wants to check there's no any other questions, or do you have any questions? 还有问题吗？ Oh yes. Oh sorry. Yes, you're honorable. Of course, please.
Sorry. I just one sentence. You know about this topic that when we live in peace when we are ready for war.
Very well said. We need translation
那
for
么
that.
我想要再补充一句话，那就是如遇和平必先备战。
Yes, very well. Any other additional remarks, concluding remarks from this side? Want to check? Yes?
If I can, one concluding remark. Taiwan, as we learned today, has allocated 56 million for help to Ukraine for year 2023. And this is one of the largest aids in Asia. And that also sends a message that if aggression happens, if invasion happens, it's not only regional teamwork, but it's global teamwork. And I think that's also one of the factors of deterrence to China. Taiwan's help to Ukraine also helps Taiwan in the sense that for all the countries in Europe, this is extremely important. And then for them, it's a bigger motivation to help to Taiwan. So in this sense, also one factor is that growing unity of democratic nations from Western to Indo-Pacific region is something that I hope that China, if we have any common sense and ability to strategize, would take into account that the price would be too high.
Very well said. Excellent translation, Liu Xin. Thanks.
那么目前我知道，2023年为止呢，台湾已经捐助给乌克兰有5600万以上的这个援助，这是在亚洲最大的数字。这也传达一个讯息，就是任何威权主义的入侵，不只是区域的问题，也是需要全球的团队合作才能够达到嚇阻的效果。台湾帮助乌克兰，同时也帮助了自己，因为欧洲国家会看到台湾伸出援手，也更有动机要帮助台湾。我认为全球民主阵营应该要更团结，从西方世界到印太地区。我也希望中国如果有任何一点尝试，就会知道任何这个扩张的入侵的行为都会付出极大的代价。
Thank you very much. I want to check. Do we have any other questions? 媒体朋友们，还有没有问题想问？ Okay, if not, I would like to also here to highlight and also the deep appreciation from Taiwan, the government and the people of Taiwan for their visit. It's so meaningful for us to see your presence here in Taiwan. You came here in a very good timing, supporting us, and your friendship means so much to us. Thank you for the inspiration of you, for Lithuania resisting against the bully, against Russia, against China. That is really an inspiration and a strength for us. Thank you, each one of you, and may this be the visit of many, many more to come. Thank you very much. 谢谢. Yeah, shall we do a photo, a group picture? I also would like to acknowledge the presence of Liu Shifan. Here's the Deputy Director General of European Affairs. So come and join us for the group picture, shall we? Yeah. Finally, yes, that is the moment.